Hey guys, thanks for being here today. I just wanted to jump on here before we go live and say that I am dedicating today's podcast episode to my grandpa, who fell ill rather quickly a couple days ago due to COVID complications, and we actually lost him yesterday. So I want to dedicate this to him, and just excited that you're all here and got this guy here for all the support. So here we go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 3. Thank you so much for joining us again. We're so excited that you guys keep tuning in, and we are having such a blast doing this and talking about all things pop culture, Love is Blind, and personal. We're going to talk about Love is Blind in just a little bit because we know all of you want to hear about it, and we have lots to talk about. The new episodes dropped yesterday. Did you watch them, Jess? Of course
I did. I binged last night, finally. I had so much work going on and other family things, so it was a crazy day, but I got around to watching it last night. And it's getting good. But I don't know, I could use a little more drama, but we'll unpack it all. I think some of my opinions are changing for sure. Okay. And I picked out some things that I think are pretty interesting discussion points.
Yay, coming up. And, some of these cast members right now really stepping into, I guess, what you would call influencer status, which is,
absolutely,
let's be honest, a reason why a lot of them joined the show, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, they're going to get a following, right? I remember when, I think it was around the wedding time, I was sitting in my conference room at my house and I was just refreshing my Instagram, and it was 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000 that were adding to my Instagram every second. And it was so wild. So I think they're all experiencing this right now. I know they are here in LA. They're actually just down the street taping the reunion right now. I've been in touch with quite a few of them and trying to support them however I can. But yeah, it's been interesting just watching the second season, I have to say. But Natalie and Shane, I'm really starting to get behind that relationship. And also Iyanna and Jarrett. Jarrett
is a hoot and a half. He needs his own show.
He does. Jarrett and Shane could have their own show.
Yeah, he's so funny to me. I just think that he was good casting. And you've been chatting with them, so that's interesting. I'm sure they appreciate your perspective, or they would be wise to listen to you.
Yeah, it's interesting. I have a lot of resources that I think are helpful. And also, they're going into the reunion today. So that's always a tough spot to be in as the storylines are playing out. And, how do you react to things? And, there's always a bit of PR that goes into it as well.
What were you thinking? I was with you because you were already living in California when you guys filmed the reunion, right? Mm-hmm. Or were you in Chicago? And you flew back in Atlanta, and what was going through your head before you had to film?
I don't recall that I had much at all going through my mind, except I had this strategy that you all had built out. I don't know how much you had to do with that, but there was a strategy sheet that was prepared when I landed in Atlanta. My friends intercepted me, and we went to the Lowe's, and we talked through this entire strategy of how I was going to approach the reunion and exactly what I was going to say and who I was going to say I'm sorry to, which when you're in the position that I was in, which now some of the information has been aired, it's really hard to go and apologize, sometimes for things that you hadn't done.
I think I was team no apology.
You were. Everyone else was on the other side. And Laura stayed with me that night. And then in the morning, she was feeding me Alka-Seltzer. She's like, just go and read this. And so, in my mind, I was just totally broken. And I was just reading this strategy note. And
yeah, we had like a big White House CIA meeting ahead of this reunion. It was like... It was like crazy. And lots of good advice, though. I think I was just like, go be yourself, girl. Just say what you want. But I think you operate better when you're prepared.
Absolutely. I do, for sure. I always need a plan. And I remember I Ubered to the sound studio with with Kenny that morning. So he puts me at ease too. He's such a good friend and always has such great advice. So it was nice to see him. But they actually, when we started the reunion, they were going to put me on the other side of Barnett. So it would have been Barnett in the middle, Amber on one side of him, and myself on the other side. And I didn't recognize her because when I got there, she apparently had blonde hair. So I sat down, and all of a sudden, this blonde hair just whips into my face and starts calling me a bee and all this stuff. And I was like, ooh, what the heck? So I woke up then, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to sit back here. This is wild. So God bless them at this reunion today. I really hope everyone gets along and everyone can move forward and put this all behind them in the best
you were
and most
really, they
amicable
put
way.
you through the ringer.
Whew. That was tough.
Oh my gosh.
That was
you
tough.
walked so they could fly or they could run or whatever it is.
I hope so.
We got a couple voicemails this week. And we want to tell you guys, please call in and please leave us voicemails. And when you leave us voicemails, tell us where you're from too. So we could, I don't know, we want to hear where you guys are from. We've got your names, but we want to hear,
Yeah, I think it's so cool that Love is Blind has such an international audience.
Yeah. This one's from Maria. Let's see. I'm going to try to play this. You can listen to it here. All right. Let me know if you can hear it, Jess.
Hello. I would like to give my feedback on the neighborhood Facebook groups. So I used to think that the neighborhood Facebook groups either like at best were funny or a little dramatic, and at worst, some of the stuff on Nextdoor, which is a different app, but could get really racist and problematic. However, I'm from Texas, and when we had our horrible winter storm last year in heat, we were able to use our neighborhood Facebook group in a really amazing way.
So that's kind of the crux of Maria's voicemail. And for people who are like, what is she talking about? Last week, we discussed how I like HOAs. That's why I go on Facebook nowadays, is for Marketplace and HOAs. So thank you so much, Maria, for calling in and giving us your feedback on neighborhood Facebook groups and Nextdoor and all of that fun stuff. Jess, you've got some Nextdoor stories, don't you?
I have something to say about Nextdoor because I jumped on Nextdoor. Ben and I just moved out to this ranch in the country, and I was so excited to get out there. I'm like, Peyton's going to be running around. We have 5 acres. It's so great, until the first night we're there. And all of a sudden, we hear this crazy sound. It wakes us up in the middle of the night, and it sounds like Girls Gone Wild. Like someone was in our house playing Girls Gone Wild. We're like, what the hell is that? Come to find out, it's coyotes. And there's coyotes all over around our property. And so I jump on Nextdoor, and I'm starting to get so nervous. I'm not letting her go outside by herself. I jump on Nextdoor, and it's just a bunch of fear-mongering about these coyotes. It's like, oh my gosh, my dog almost died. And like every day there's something worse and worse. And to the point, I wouldn't even let her go outside. I'm like, you're inside. Like, you're going, finding some turf, putting it inside. I just did not even want her to go outside. So it was the worst of the worst. I finally had to delete it because I'm like, I gotta live. I get so bogged down in this stuff. I have such like anxiety about what could happen, and I just had to let go of Nextdoor. I'm sorry.
Nextdoor is a little intense for me.
It's very intense. It's getting political and racist even.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had to use it sometimes for work as a journalist, and you just kind of find out what's going on in certain areas. And then I was like, wow, this is intense. There's a lot of conversation on this. I think I will stick to Facebook.
Heck yeah. I'll meet my neighbors just by the old fashioned way. Just make them a pie.
We have another voicemail. Are we calling these voicemails or voice messages? What are we calling these?
I like voicemail.
Okay, we've got another voicemail, and this one is from, we've got another Jessica.
Another Jessica.
Thanks for calling in. Okay, let's hear it.
This is Jessica calling from St. Louis. My hot take on Love is Blind Season 2 is that I'm already seeing people compare Shayna to Jessica and say how she is the worst. I think in general, most of the cast is just in it for the TV this season, Shayna included. But in her defense, she has many times told Kyle that she is worried about their major differences of beliefs getting in the way of their relationship. Instead of talking about it, Kyle smiles and says it's all good. Kyle knows what he's doing. He knows this relationship is not going to work out. Kyle doesn't want it to work out either. He is intentionally setting himself up on TV to make it seem like he is the good guy who will get heartbroken by a woman he loves on TV to get all the sympathy. I want to see people shift the conversation from blaming Shayna to blaming Kyle for how he keeps pushing this relationship that she is obviously not into. I agree neither of them are perfect, but it really upsets me to see people put all of the blame on Shayna.
She's
I have so much to say about this.
She's like mic drop.
You already know I have so much to say about this.
Yes.
So, I didn't really know what to make of Shayna in the first few episodes, but after watching yesterday's episodes, I'm like, and no surprise to anyone here, but Team Shayna all day. Woo-hoo! Because, what is there to not understand? Like, I was blown away when he was like, oh, is like me being atheist a deal breaker for you?
In this day and age, specifically is what he said.
This day and age. And it's like almost like, well, is it not a deal breaker for you? Like, wouldn't you want someone who kind of is on the same foundation as you? No, we're all just gonna force whatever.
It's a big deal. Let's be honest.
She's very good looking, so he's obviously wants to stick with her. But I loved when her mom was like, body language says everything. And when they were sitting on the couch next to each other.
And her brothers were grilling him. Which her family was adorable, by the way.
And I don't even think, I agree with this caller. I agree with Jessica. I don't think he wants to be with her either. I think he wants to be on the show.
But you're on a show. You find yourself on a show, so what are you going to do? And you know that person doesn't want to be with you and they're being outspoken about it. You're, of course, going to take the back seat.
What I loved about this season, though, is I do feel like more couples are open to being like, I'm not feeling this right now. I'm not. There's more of that. Like Shayna, like how many times can she say, I'm not feeling this? Whereas I feel like we didn't get a lot of that last season. It was just you saying that.
It was just me.
And people were like, what do you mean? Everybody else is in love. Why can't Jessica be in love? What's going on? Yeah. She's just the worst.
What a loser.
Yeah. And this season, it's like every couple has a little bit of, is this going to work or not?
Isn't there, I know you're deep into wedding planning and there's some allure to it. And then there's obviously the frustration of it. But my heart hurts for them too, because it's so exciting. Planning your wedding and getting to do everything that you want to do and having your big day, and it's so special. And I'm watching this going, these are like funerals. It feels like a funeral. Is it me because I've had that experience and I have the PTSD of it, or is that reality? And how do you feel about them foregoing planning their own weddings to have this type of a TV
especially
wedding?
When it's your first wedding? Have as many as you want, right? But when it's your first wedding, I feel like that's so special, and you can't get that back. And so they'll always know, like, my first wedding was planned by production, and I'm not super like gushy. Oh my gosh, I'm not like the Princess Bride, but yeah, it is a ride, and it is an experience that, well, you only get the experience of planning your first wedding once. So I do feel bad for them in that regard. And I got to say, like, even when they were trying on dresses and I forget her name, Shane's fiance. Natalie. She had her mom and then his mom there, and they had just met there, like in front of a production crew with cast members. And I thought, oh God.
I liked that. My mom and Ben's mom still haven't met, actually.
Okay, but are they going to meet like in front of a TV crew?
No.
Wait, should we arrange that actually? Should we hook that up?
No.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, some of that stuff is just like very intimate and very like special, and not saying.
Right. Yeah.
Actually,
I agree.
It is kind of saying the show does take away from it. I am saying that.
How do you like the dresses so far?
So, yeah, I don't think I wrote anything down as like super special. Does that mean?
I love
everyone
DT's
has different
dress.
tastes. Somebody might see my wedding dress and go, right.
I was surprised with the wedding dress I picked because it's totally different than what I ever would have thought. But I would have never, it's so weird because the first experience, I just got like a couple dresses. Of course, I wasn't into it at all. But the whole wedding dress shopping process is you go to all these different places and they're all such different experiences. And some places have like nothing that you're looking for. And then in my experience, I went to this magical place and had this lovely experience with who I call my fairy godmother. And she had me try on this dress that looked nothing like none of you would ever see me in this dress. And I started crying and I felt like a bride. And it was so cool. I don't think anybody's getting probably that experience in it.
And let's just remind you that was not for Mark. That was for Ben.
Yes, this was for Ben. This was like a month ago.
Over a dress for Mark.
Or a few months ago. Yeah.
Remember, I think you told me you wanted to wear like a nice pantsuit for the Netflix wedding. And
I was trying to find I did find a pantsuit and I brought it there, but I gave in on wearing the pantsuit because it was just a trade-off that I decided to make. But the pantsuit did come with me to the venue that morning.
That would have been a statement.
It was from Beholden. It was really cute. I ended up taking it back.
Pants.
I just didn't want to walk down the aisle in a dress because I didn't want that to get taken away from me. But then I decided, well, if I'm walking down the aisle without my dad and flowers, then I'm just walking down the aisle in a dress. Who cares?
Right. And you look beautiful. I tell you, like, I loved your hair.
You're the only person that told me that. You're the only person that said that.
I still stand by that. I thought you looked very good. I was like, oh my gosh, here she comes.
Thanks,
like,
bro.
She looks really good for this wedding. To this guy I've only met one time.
What were you thinking, by the way, when that was all going down? Were you like, what is this?
I was very confused for several hours, but it was fun to see you.
No phones.
Yeah, no phones. It was fun to see you. It was fun to see, some of our other friends there. But I was confused for months with this, and you know that. So I was just like, I don't know what's going on.
Right.
When I had to tell Gary, I'm like, we got to go to her wedding. He's like, what?
Thanks, Gary.
I'm like, she's getting married.
I still
we have
owe
to
him.
Go.
I still owe him.
Oh my gosh, so funny. But this is a very special time for them, and I really hope that they're soaking it up.
I know. What'd you think of their bachelorette parties?
Oh.
I thought I would have rather been on the guys' bachelor party than the girls' party boat. Like,
absolutely,
Wrigley Field by themselves is my dream. And I can't believe Shane couldn't connect with the ball. I was like, come on, get me a bat, put me in, coach.
I texted you. I'm like, wait, they get to go to Wrigley, and I don't understand how they made that happen. I would have been not
cool.
happy if I was one of those girls on a boat. We could do a boat every day. You can't do Wrigley every day, like private like that. So
it was amazing.
That was really cool. That's very special. That's something even the people who didn't get married, like if they went to Wrigley, they will remember that experience forever.
It's so cool.
I
was so happy for them. I'm in the middle of planning your bachelorette right now.
How's it going?
It's going good. So we're about 3 months out. I pretty much have everything. You know me. I've got a plan for a plan. I've got like 3 backup plans, multiple contingencies, and it's going to be a blast. We've got Vacasa sponsoring it. We've got a big beach house, right? I mean, it's going to be amazing.
I'm excited. I'm so happy. I'm one of those people who I get really anxious when like people have to do things for me or like.
I know you do. You will not let yourself be in the spotlight.
So anxious. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like people like spending money on me and like having to do things. And so this has been very like, but it was hard to like kind of like let you do that.
It's part of the cycle, Ash. How many weddings have you been to? How many times have you been a bridesmaid? I mean, you pay it back, and it's a lot of fun to celebrate people. People love celebrating you. So you just got to let yourself be a bride.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's your special day.
Absolutely.
And I've given her this pep talk so many times. It's
I know,
like not getting through.
I know. It's just a weird feeling.
You're a very selfless person.
Let me know, like, if any of you are planning weddings and feel this way, but I just feel like it's hard to. I just don't like people doing anything for me.
I know you don't.
Yeah. I don't like having people do anything.
I just do it.
I know, but you like doing it, so I was like, okay, Jessica likes doing it. Gary said he was like, when I was like, oh, I don't want to like have people spend money or anything. He's like, I'm going to call Jessica and I'm going to tell her this. She's only getting a bachelorette party one time. And I'm glad he didn't do that.
He's the best. I love that he just like bought you a Louis Vuitton last week because you made one good choice. And then all of a sudden he surprised you with a Louis because you made a good financial choice. Speaking of, Shane does not believe in 401ks.
I am the Shane
How
of
do
our
you feel
relationship.
about this?
I am the Shane of me and Gary's relationship.
This is true.
He's like, she's like, I'm ready to buy a house. Tell me her name, Mallory? No.
Natalie. You cannot
Natalie,
remember these
can't
people's
remember.
names
And
to
she's
save
like
your
my
life.
favorite. She's my favorite and I can't remember her name. Natalie. She's like, I'm ready to buy a house. I've got money saved.
She's a boss.
He's like, I don't really check my bank account.
I know. He's been living that bachelor life, you know? But it's always good to have your 401k from the get-go, from the jump of your career, to have that 401k. You never know. You never realize that money is coming out. You always have, as much as you can take out, especially if your company's matching it, because I'm not a great saver if I have to actually take the money out of my account and put it into a savings. But if I never know that money exists, then I'm good. And
that's a major key. I think that will help a lot of people, what you just said, because I am the worst too. When you have to like physically move it yourself, you're like, I can't, I need this money. But if you don't know it's being moved before you even see it, like that's a major key.
It's pre-tax. It's years down the line. It continues to add up. And for me, when I didn't do great at saving, I still always had, that nest egg. And it's been really helpful. And I also think for those who work at companies that offer ESPP too, it's free money. Always take advantage of those things. I don't think anyone would ever recommend you not.
So what was your take on when he was like, what did he even say? He's like, I don't believe in a 401k. What did he say?
I think he said he didn't believe in it. And I assume his stance is that, and I get this to an extent, that we always save for retirement when we're going to be really old, when we can finally take out that money, live for now, spend now, enjoy the experiences now. I'm somewhere in between. I also work with my financial advisor, and we are a bit more risky. As well. So I get his point there, but I definitely think you also have to be putting money into the 401k. It's just a tried and true retirement plan.
So when I said I'm the Shane, I'm not that risky. So I definitely have a 401k, but I do understand that logic too. And like, it's almost like save for the big, nice sports car and you could drive it when you're 70. And it's like, well, I want to drive it now. You know what I mean? Right. So I do understand it. And I get where he's coming from there. For me, and everyone's different, right? Like somebody might have seen that and said, no problem, like same. For me, like I need somebody who is a little wiser than me in that department. So for me, that wouldn't work for me. Like we would both we'd have nowhere to live.
And Gary is the perfect yin to your yang in that scenario.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it seems like Natalie was like, okay, like wasn't a deal breaker.
She's okay with it. And that's when I really start to get behind them. When she talks about her parents' relationship and how she sees that modeled with her relationship with Shane, I start to really fall in love with this couple. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't seeing it at first. I kind of saw him more with Shayna, but I think they're just more friends than anything. And I think now we're seeing this relationship between Shane and Natalie just really take off. And I love it.
A lot of people on social media, Twitter to be exact, are just like, I can see why all of these guys are single. I do not understand why any of these women are single. And I kind of feel like that too.
That's a great point. I had not heard that.
Natalie is beautiful. Right. Natalie's great. Mallory is so pretty. And especially in these next few episodes, I'm like, oh my gosh, she is so pretty.
And she has her head on straight.
Oh,
more importantly.
Shayna is gorgeous. Those close-ups of Shayna, she looks fantastic. And it's not just looks. I'm just calling out a rose. Like, I'm like, she's beautiful. She's beautiful.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean? Like, they seem like they have so much going for them. And it's like, how are they? I mean, such is life, though. I live in Atlanta, so I've got girlfriends who know this firsthand. But like, you could have it all. You could have the whole package and you still can't find someone. But people on Twitter are like, I can definitely see why these guys have been single.
It's such a good point. I had not heard that, but now I'm circling back to the conversation with Mallory and her sister with Sal. And her sister was just calling him out How old are you? What do you do? How much money do you have in the bank? And it sounds really shallow. And these are all of the things that Love is Blind is supposed to not be. But think if your sister was on this show and she came out and she's like, I'm getting married in 2 weeks. You are going to be thinking about these things. Is my sister going to be taken care of? Is she going to bring on some freeloader? Who is this person? Are they smoke and mirrors, or are they the real deal? I'm sorry, but if you're not asking these questions, you're not really looking out for this person. So when she was saying all these things, I'm going, that's very realistic, but that's exactly what people also shame some for on Love is Blind, for asking those kind of questions.
Very basic questions that anybody would ask, but because it's a show, you're just supposed to like close your eyes and go, all right.
Right. She knows her sister's worked her butt off and she has all these assets. So she's like, who is this guy? I'm sorry. I'd be in the same exact boat. Okay. Can we talk about what I thought was the very best part of these episodes?
What?
And it was really low key, but Ben and I were like losing our minds because Ben and I, well, this is last night. We get to bed 9:30, pretty late for us, and it's a Friday night. But we're watching Jarrett and Ayana, and they're having this conversation. And she's like, he keeps going out, and it's not like I'm asking him to come home by like, and she kind of pauses, and she goes, 1 in the morning? I'm sorry, is that like a decent time for your man to arrive at home? And then she also referenced as 3 would be the cutoff to where she's starting to get upset.
Okay, so I was cracking up at that part. This is what I mean when I say Jarrett is such good TV, because then Netflix goes to him like with his friends in slow motion, and he's just like, what? And she's on the couch. Me and Gary are in bed. Gary is in bed so early. He's in bed at like 8 o'clock. So, and half the time when you text me, because Jessica's on the West Coast, so 3 hours later, I don't even see it till the morning because I'm sleeping.
I know you don't.
So, you know what I mean? So if it's 7 o'clock your time, 8, 9, 10, I might be knocked out. You know what I mean? Yeah. So no, I think that's very late, but I think that was hilarious. And
I mean, we were like,
I think that was hilarious. And I think that, I would have a major problem if somebody was coming home at 1. So at 3, like, just, I'm not going to, like, don't even come.
3 o'clock, I've changed the locks.
Right.
Don't come back.
Wait, I want to know what people think about this, though, because people might think, like, I could just hear my friend Julie and my friend Byron being like, you guys are losers. You guys go to bed early.
Totally.
I want to know, is that late or not?
I want to know. And I've got friends that are way cooler than me. So fun. They stay out all night. I've been a grandma for years. So I think that maybe it just might be a difference of kind of introvert versus extrovert. And
well, I don't even, so this is why me and you really get along so well too, because real quick, we had a girls trip to Miami a few years back. Shout out to Lindsay and Kristen. And it was the 4 of us, and Lindsay and Kristen are night owls. And so they will be like, all right, dinner's at 9. We're like, dinner is at what time? 9 o'clock? And then they'll be like, and then after we're doing this, that, and the other, I'm like, I gotta go to bed. I gotta like, and I'll do like little things. Anyone who knows me knows this stuff too, because I'm just so tired. I wish I could be cool. I wish I could stay out, but I'll be like, I want to go up to the room and like just reapply my makeup. I'm going to bed.
And the best part of that night was Ashley and I kept checking in with each other. Is it too early to ditch out? Can we get an Uber now? And I'm like, no, 10 more minutes. And then finally, it was what, 2? 1:30 or 2?
It was late.
And we announced to our friends, hey, we think we're going to get an Uber. And our friend was like, what? And I'm like, I've been sitting here for like 4 hours since eating a steak at like 10. I'm spent. I'm going home. So Jarrett, God bless you. I mean...
And this is why Jessica is planning my Bachelorette, because she knows exactly what I want. Low key,
spa
beach,
days, reading
some
books,
morning yoga. That is it. Yeah. 100%.
It'll be chill.
But we do want to hear from you guys. So yeah, please call us, leave us a voicemail and let us know. Is 3 o'clock late? I mean, is 1 o'clock late for you? Is 3 o'clock late? And what if your significant other was out with his friends or her friends till 3 a.m? How would you feel? And you weren't there. You were on the couch.
I want to say one other thing. I feel like if you're in the middle of Chicago, it's a little bit different. Chicago gets super fun late night. I feel like when I was living there, I was out pretty late. Again, for me, it's more of 11. But I will say that. But it's also, Also, the bigger thing, and this is something Ben brought up, it's like, dude, you have 3 weeks to get to know this girl and you're out partying with your friends.
That's so true.
Probably better to be home getting to know the person that you're about to spend the rest of your life with, or not.
That's 100% so true. And good point, Ben. He's got 3 weeks and he's like, you know what? I think I'm going to go. I don't even know where they were. Do you know where they were in Chicago? It looked like just a little casual lounge, like doing shots, just out there, just really out there. Wait, I wanted to ask you too, for people who don't know, are they up there? So they're in their own homes, right?
I think some of them decided to stay in their respective homes, and others have gone into the apartment that Netflix provided for them.
Because I know you were living in that apartment for some time.
Yeah. Sometimes I was living there. Sometimes I was living in my house.
So you were there.
I broke some rules.
That's okay. We saw your house on the show. That's why I was like, wait a second. Was it apartments first, then you go home, or do you go straight home?
It's apartments first. And then, no, it was apartments the entire time through the wedding. It was supposed to be.
Okay, we saw your house. So
I was at my house.
Was a sign.
Yeah.
Some signs that we saw.
One other thing that really bothered me last night, the comment that Shake made about being with Deep T and that he felt like he was with his aunt. Did you catch that? How awkward is that? Now I really hope they don't consummate the engagement. Have you ever been with someone who you thought was your family member?
No, what? And I thought he's something else. But I was also thinking, like, the whole time he's talking about like how he wasn't, like, I don't know if it wasn't like he wasn't physically attracted or he just wasn't, there was no spark there. There was no nothing. And I was thinking of her having to watch this and be like how crappy do you feel if some guys on TV been like, I'm not really feeling like her, like I'm not super attracted. I don't know. She kind of like gives cousin vibes, aunt vibes. And I was thinking of her being like, this girl's so cute. That is really a shame.
I love her. I think it redeems him a bit because he talks about how much he loves her and respects her and how close of a friend she is. And I get that he's not having the physical intimacy. You can't fake it.
And I think something else that comes to mind here is that he said he has only dated white girls, and he's an Indian. She has only dated white boys, and she's an Indian. So I guess as they're dating, it does feel like these are family members because maybe that's not their type, or like they've never been with somebody else of their same culture. And, so I think that maybe that plays a little bit into it too. So he's like, I like her. I just don't really know. It feels weird to me. It feels like I'm at home.
I think it's the most interesting part of the experiment, actually.
I do too. It's really, I'll be curious to see if they get married.
That mom is like all in. She loves Deep T. She was calling Shake out, actually, that he wasn't attracted to her. Because it sounded like his parents' marriage was actually, in the Indian tradition, they had only known each other for a week or so. So that played out well, and she's probably hoping he follows in those footsteps.
Sure. I really am growing. What's his name? Sal is really growing on me.
Oh, good.
I thought is that the one who
he played his little baby guitar? Yeah. What do you call it?
I thought the song was a little long. We could have cut the song shorter. It was getting awkward for a minute.
It was very long.
I think he's like very sweet.
He put out a whole audition tape.
I was like, let's wrap the song up. But I think he's like growing on me, and I don't know. I think he might be growing on Mallory too. What do you think?
I think so. I think he's growing on her.
She's convincing.
I'm proud of her for letting it grow, for allowing herself to really be in the experiment and see what can happen. Because that's really hard to do when you initially don't have that attraction.
Yeah.
So props to her.
Do you know something about that?
I don't. No, I don't.
Yeah, I think that they look cute. They look like they're strong. And okay, so the other couple, and everybody, you guys just forgive me. I am so bad with names. They could be right here, and I'd be like, who is this? The one who I was cracking up last week because she was in the fetal position and also being
Nick and Danielle.
Nick and Danielle. Mhm.
What do you have to say? Because I'm ready.
So
I'm ready for you.
She's very pretty. She's giving kind of obsessed.
Obsessed? Okay. She's obsessed.
Giving obsessed with him. She's giving
Okay.
insecure.
Yeah.
And she's just picking fights, I feel like.
Yeah. She's uneasy. And I think that's her defense mechanism, is to pick these fights. But I think they're doing it right. I think the fights are manifesting into them learning more about each other. And
Got that right.
I think they're getting on the same page. I think this couple's going to work out. I understand all of her fears and her insecurities from past relationships and the fact that she lost 70 pounds. She's overcome quite a bit, but I don't think she's necessarily totally confident in herself yet.
That's what I mean.
She's scared to death to lose him. And I think her defense mechanism is pushing him away. I think she's endearing. I think she's beautiful. She's smart. She's also wants to make a good decision. And, we see by the end that she's 100% in and she's going to say yes. I feel her 100%. I think she's going through this experiment. I think it's the most wise of any of the women, to be honest, because she's not hiding anything. She's putting it all out there. She's talking about things that you talk about, honestly, like in therapy. She's getting so much out, so much that's really deep. And I think it's bringing him closer.
But is he her therapist? I don't think he's her therapist. I think that's where I have like an issue. I'm just kind of like, gosh, she's really laying it on thick on this guy. And he's just like trying to have a nice date. And here she comes with this bag and this bag and this bag. And it's like, dang, can we just have fun tonight? So that's where I'm coming from. But I do understand having like overcome so much. Like you really put that in perspective for me, the weight loss and the past relationships and this, that, and the other. But it's almost like then maybe you should heal first before you try to jump into something with a man and then like bring him down too.
Yeah, I think there's some healing to do, but who's to say that you have to do that alone? And also she did it in a hot dog costume and him in a corn costume. So at least they're having fun.
I'm going to give her another chance too. I like her. I think she's like really sweet, genuine girl. And she's got a great smile. I'm just like, every episode is drama. I'm like, oh gosh, this is like exhausting me.
Her mom is my favorite character so far. I loved her.
All right. So we did get some questions on Insta.
What do we got?
Do you want to do these?
What
do you want to do?
Yeah.
You want to read some of them?
We've got some questions.
And the people want to know. I have to go through, like you just texted these to me yesterday, and then we have so much.
We have so many questions. So we're just going to pick a couple.
Go for it.
Do you get to choose or ask out people to the pods, or is it just a rotation where you meet with everyone equally? This is such a great question because I don't know if I was just realizing it as I'm actually watching this season too, but they follow the stories once the couples are interested in each other. But every single day, you're meeting with 10 different guys. Then it's 8, then it's 5. Every day, all day, you're in the pods really getting to know all of the guys. So while they're following the stories of those who are having connections, you also have to realize these people are probably so worn out because all day long they're talking different topics to different guys. And we're only seeing just a very small piece of that.
That's crazy. Please tell me, this is another comment, please tell me that there's therapy for everyone after this experience paid for by Netflix.
Yeah, I can't necessarily comment on that, but I can say I have been in therapy ever since the show came out. And it's to anyone that's ever been alive, I would recommend you go to therapy. I was going to say in reality TV or whatever.
Been alive?
There's no reason to not go to a therapist and say anything that's on your mind that can never leave the room unless you plan to hurt anyone or yourself.
Yeah.
Do it.
Any other good ones that you see? Somebody asked what we thought of Sal, and I think we kind of answered that. I think he's growing on me.
I think he's really cute when he plays the ukulele. Once you get out of the pods to get your cell phone again, this is interesting. Once we get out of the pods, we get engaged and go to Mexico. And when you get to Mexico, they give you a burner Nokia phone from like 1996, which is really fun because you can play Snake. And that's how we kept ourselves busy. Most of the time was playing Snake.
Not being romantic with your significant other.
Oh, yeah. I mean, being romantic with your significant other.
Sponsor her, Snake.
Next question.
Sponsor her. She loves it. Let's see. Any other questions? Oh, I think this is a good question. And I think we kind of saw some of this, but are you allowed to ask about each other's appearances, like race, height, hair color, body type? Because we saw some of that this round anyway, with Shake. Wanted to know people's sizes and, you know, like, I don't know.
The thing I loved about the experiment is there's no area you can't touch. You can ask away. Nothing is, you know, too salacious. Anything is up for grabs. So you can ask any question. And I know we were doing lookalikes. Who does so-and-so look like? If, you know, celebrity twin kind of thing.
Oh my gosh, that's dangerous territory. You're like, for me, I look like Holly Berry.
Exactly. I'm trying to remember which guy said that he looked like Channing Tatum. Oh, Damien said he looked like Channing Tatum. Or he said a cross between Channing Tatum and Chris Hemsworth, I think. I'm trying to remember what he said.
He thought very highly of himself. Speaking of that, there's Tinder, I think, is rolling out like a new app, like update where
blind dating.
You can kind of do this experiment on Tinder before seeing them. And I'm just like, oh, what could go wrong? I mean,
I think this is a direct response to Tinder Swindler.
Interesting.
So they're mixing it up.
Would you ever do that? Would you do that on Tinder? And let us know if you're listening. Please leave us a voicemail. Would you do something like this where you just kind of get to know them without ever seeing like any pictures of them or videos? I don't even know if you would know like their height, which I guess is a huge question on these apps. And so would you do this? Like if you were single, Jess?
No, I would never get on an app again. I don't care if it's blind dating. I don't care if it's a bagel meets your coffee. I don't care what it is. Christians mingling or farmers in the field. I would never get on an app again. It is the absolute worst thing ever.
Tell us how you really feel.
Would you?
Yeah. And I encourage our friends who are single to get on these apps. Get out there. Put yourself out there. Do it. Let's go. We got to meet and greet. We got to... Someone, you know, Romeo's not going to come knocking on your door. You got to put yourself out there.
Yes, he will. He is coming.
The other day.
Don't listen to her. Romeo is coming, and he is going to knock on your door, and it's organically going to happen. How do you think our grandparents met? Hello?
I know, but they didn't meet in 2022. I'm just all for these apps. Like, I think that you can meet genuinely good people. I know people who are married from these apps.
I agree. I do too. It has to be the right person. I think my personality, you know, doesn't belong on the apps. Were you ever on an app before, Gary?
I used to be. Yeah. So back in the day, I was on Tinder and then I was on Bumble. It's so funny because Julie, our friend, sent me like a screen video of this guy the other day. And I said, what is this? I didn't even know what it was. It was an app. I had no idea. It's so advanced now. Like you have videos on there. It looks like it's a whole thing. I'm like, wow, this has come a long way since 2015.
I can't wait to see virtual reality dating apps. Now that I can get behind.
Okay.
Did you ever see that Black Mirror episode where they were virtual reality? The two guys, they were playing against each other and then their wives gave them a hall pass. Okay, anyway, this is a story for another day.
Oh my gosh. So
speaking of hall pass.
Yeah. I actually want someone to follow someone who like they do this Tinder thing where they just get to know each other, follow them with cameras, which sounds like a show, and let them meet up and be like, oh, what'd you think?
We need to put that out to some Hollywood producers ASAP.
I don't know. I think Love is Blind might cease and desist that.
Probably so. I mean, it's kind of a different angle.
I love the idea. So I want to hear what you guys have to say. So please leave us a voicemail or just you can DM us and we could discuss anything else going on in life.
Speaking of hall passes, Corey Gamble, did he get one? Did Corey Gamble get a hall pass? Because Kanye called him out and leaked that he was making out with some girl at the club. Okay, can I just say that the Kardashians not having control of the narrative in the press right now has to be absolutely destroying them because they're so used to having their arms around the narrative and being in control of PR. But right now, Kanye is really throwing them for a loop.
He's throwing a grenade in their storyline because we know it's very crafted. They're geniuses at this. I mean, their brand is like what everyone hopes to emulate, right? And so Kanye is really, and people are just like, I mean, my friend's got notifications turned on so he could see when Kanye posts because it's so entertaining right now.
Like you said, everyone's in the group chat.
Yeah, Kris Jenner is just like cringing, and poor Kim, he will not let her divorce him or be single or what have you. I don't know what's going on there, but it's like TBD, the saga continues, and I will say it is very entertaining. Probably not for Kim.
Well, now Pete Davidson has entered the chat. He's back on Instagram, so it's going to continue to be very entertaining.
So I was with my mom last night. I was with my mom last night for dinner, and she's like, she was just like, so mommy. What does she see? She said, I would have never pictured them together. I wonder what she sees in Pete. It's kind of like what we were talking about before. And I just think it's so funny. Everyone is just like scratching their heads and we're all just watching.
I think that's all we've got for today. I guess we're going to see what happens with these couples. Right now, I'm not sure. I think I'm seeing 3 couples potentially have what it takes to say yes. And
who are they?
I think Shane and Natalie, Ayanna and Jarrett, and Nick and Danielle. I don't think Shake is going to get there with Deep Tea, especially now that he's mentioned that she looks like his aunt. I can't come back from that. And I just don't see Mallory and Sal getting there, especially when his ex-girlfriend has now entered the chat and there's some animosity over that.
I am feeling Jarrett and Ayanna, and I am feeling Natalie and Shane. But here's the thing. Are Natalie and Shane just getting a good edit? Be honest with me.
Are they?
Why is there nothing? There's like not really much drama there. Like I think they had like one little spat.
There's no drama. There's really not a lot of drama going on at all. I'm kind of like, So I think they're showing the best parts of their love story. I did see on the trailer for the next episode that they get into a huge fight. So I think, that fairy tale is about to come crashing down and we'll see, what happens when the dust settles. But I still am rooting for them.
Okay, I got one couple. That's it.
Unless you want
to be business
Jarrett.
partners. Like I said, last episode, this is a great business relationship partnership. And, I think some of them go into it thinking that and they want to be influencers. I mean, I don't know. So we'll see.
That marriage certificate is real. I saw the thing.
That's scary.
Yeah, we had to go to the courthouse and everything.
That is so scary. No. All right. So please subscribe to this and please leave us a rating, a 5-star rating.
5, Ashley, 5.
5. We keep hearing from so many of you guys and truly we appreciate the support. Like, this is just organic and we're just starting off doing this. So we really thank you for the support, but we need your 5-star ratings and we need your reviews and we want to hear from you.
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been more than we ever thought. All of the love is so appreciated. So thank you guys for tuning in. This is the Unsettled Podcast. Thanks, guys.
Woo-woo!
See you next week.